Let's talk about something that really gets under every biker's skin. Have you ever noticed those little things that just drive you crazy? We're talking about the annoying comments and clueless behaviors from people who seem to forget we're all sharing the road. From careless drivers to non-riders who simply don't get it, today we're going to explore the pet peeves that really make a biker's blood boil. And if none of this bothers you, well, you might want to reconsider how much of a real rider you are. So, let's get started. First up, let's address the problem of clueless individuals sitting on your bike without even asking. It's a huge frustration when you step outside only to find someone making themselves comfortable on your ride. You know the type, someone posed for a photo or twisting the throttle like they've never seen a motorcycle before. And just when you confront them, they always pull out that classic excuse, "Relax, man, I'm just looking, I wasn't going to steal it." But here's the deal, it's not just a bike, it's your bike. You wouldn't climb into someone's car without asking, so why would you think it's okay to hop on my motorcycle like it's a playground ride? Motorcycles aren't like cars. One wrong move and it could go crashing down. Or worse, you could mess with something crucial. Trust me, this happens more often than you think, and the results are never pretty. So to anyone who's not a rider, if you want to take a picture or sit on it, just ask first. It's a simple courtesy, and if you don't be shocked if the owner decides to express their anger. Next, we have drivers who never check their mirrors. There's nothing that ticks off a rider more than a driver completely oblivious to the existence of motorcycles. You know the type. They don't signal, they don't check their surroundings, and somehow they just drift into your lane like you're invisible. You're cruising along when suddenly there's a car threatening to sideswipe you. No signal, no awareness, just pure negligence. And even if you're honking, revving your engine, or waving your arms, they often won't even notice. It's a recipe for disaster. These situations aren't just frustrating, they're dangerous. As a biker, staying alert to your surroundings is crucial. Remember, awareness can save lives, and a little caution from drivers can go a long way in keeping everyone safe on the road. It's also essential to remember that bikers have a much smaller profile on the road, making it easy for them to be overlooked. That's why defensive riding techniques, such as keeping a safe distance and positioning yourself optimally in traffic, can make all the difference. So let's all do our part to be more mindful out there. Many drivers out there are completely unaware of their surroundings. You know the type, the ones who cut you off at intersections, pull out without checking, or slam on their brakes for no apparent reason. And when they finally realize they almost caused a serious accident, they either just shrug it off or act as if it's your fault somehow. That's why seasoned riders approach the road with a healthy dose of skepticism. We ride as if everyone around us is oblivious because statistically a lot of them are. It is astonishing to think that many drivers consistently underestimate the presence of motorcyclists, often leading to close calls that could easily be avoided with just a bit of awareness. And don't even get me started on those who see you but still refuse to give you the space you need. Even when you're clearly in their side mirror or their blind spot, they still behave like they own the road. Here's a straightforward tip for all drivers. Please use your mirrors, check your blind spots, signal your lane changes, and remember that motorcycles are on the road too. Because if you continue to drive like you're the only driver out there, one day you're going to hear a very loud bang, and it won't be your favorite song on the radio. Now, let's talk about those who think riding a motorcycle is just too dangerous. Every rider has experienced this conversation at least once. You mention that you ride, and suddenly, a stranger feels compelled to share their expert opinion. They'll say things like, "Oh, motorcycles are so dangerous. I knew a guy who crashed once. Are you afraid you might get hurt?" Really? Thank you, random person who has never even ridden a motorcycle, for your insightful perspective. Look, we all understand that motorcycles come with their risks, but so does driving a car, walking across the street, or even enjoying gas station sushi. Life is filled with uncertainties. Riders don't choose motorcycles because they're the safest option. We ride because nothing else compares to the experience. It's ironic that many of those who voice concerns don't truly care about our safety. Meanwhile, they're the ones multitasking behind the wheel, texting, ignoring stop signs, and tailgating at high speeds. Somehow they think that makes them the safer ones while pointing fingers at bikers. The reality is that motorcycles themselves aren't dangerous. Reckless behavior is. A responsible rider equipped with the right skills and mindset can enjoy decades on the road without major issues. Plus, rigorous training and the use of safety gear can significantly decrease the chances of serious injury, allowing riders to navigate the roads more safely. Yet the misconception remains that every ride is a risk to life and limb. So the next time someone starts droning on about the dangers of motorcycling, just smile, nod, and let them return to their mundane, safe little life. Because if you have to explain the thrill of riding, they simply won't get it. And let's not forget about the false stereotypes that come with riding. The moment you roll up on your bike and take off your helmet, there's this instant assumption that you must be part of a gang. The moment you put on your helmet, you can feel it. A familiar glance from someone nearby. You know the one. It's that uneasy look, the stiff smile and hesitation before they ask, "So, are you part of a biker gang? Do you all rule the road? Should I be worried?" Oh, come on, Karen, you've got it all figured out. Clearly, every person on two wheels must be part of some underground syndicate. Whether you're riding a Harley, a sport bike, or even a Vespa, some folks just can't shake that stereotype. They see leather vests and groups of bikers, and their imaginations take off. But let's get real. Most bikers are just everyday individuals, like doctors, teachers, mechanics, and business owners. We just prefer the thrill of two wheels over four. Unfortunately, that doesn't stop people from assuming we're out here involved in illegal activities or starting bar brawls. Ironically, those who are part of actual outlaw clubs usually don't make a big deal about it. If someone approaches you claiming they're a one-percenter and flaunting fake patches, they're likely about as genuine as a Hollywood stunt double. So no, not every biker is in a gang. Some of us just enjoy riding, working on our bikes, and hanging out with friends. But if you continue to think otherwise, don't be surprised if we decide to play into that stereotype just to tease you a bit. After all, riding a motorcycle is less about fitting into a mold and more about embracing freedom in the open road, something that not everyone understands. Now let's talk about clueless passengers. Riding with someone who doesn't know how to sit still can be a real challenge. Sure, having a passenger can be enjoyable if they know the ropes, but when you're stuck with someone who has no idea what they're doing, it can turn into a hassle. They fidget, lean the wrong way in curves, or worst of all, they randomly let go of the motorcycle. The most frustrating moment? When they start shifting around like they're adjusting a seatbelt that doesn't exist. You take a turn, and suddenly they lean in the opposite direction, throwing off your balance. You hit the brakes and they nearly crash helmets with you because they didn't brace themselves. An experienced passenger knows how to move with the bike, anticipating turns and shifts, and they create a smoother ride for both, making it an enjoyable experience rather than a stressful one. So, if you're going to hop on board, please do your homework first. And let's not forget those who think it's a good idea to put their feet down at stoplights, like that somehow helps stabilize the bike. It's not entirely their fault if they're new to riding, but if you're bringing a novice along, take a moment to cover the basics before they hop on. It's all about holding on, staying centered, and leaning with the bike, not against it. Seems straightforward, right? You'd think so, but somehow some passengers just miss the memo. If you're ever introducing someone to motorcycling, remember to explain these key points. Once you hit the road, it's a little late for lessons. It's crucial to ensure that they understand the importance of balance and body positioning, which can affect not only their comfort but also your safety. This kind of pre-ride chat can make the ride more enjoyable for both of you, and it sets a solid foundation for any future adventures together. Let's dive into something that really gets under the skin of bikers, those misconceptions that seem to pop up constantly. First up, you've got folks who look at your bike and assume it's cheap just because it has two wheels. Seriously, do they have any clue how much a well-maintained Harley, Ducati, or BMW costs? It's almost comical. It's like they think motorcycles just materialize out of thin air. Sure, some bikes are budget-friendly, but so are some cars. That doesn't mean every four-wheeler on the road is a clunker. Nor does it mean every bike is some discount option. I've seen people drop a small fortune on customizing a motorcycle, while others are just trying to keep a whole garage of cars running. Yet, here they are, making wild assumptions about every rider's financial situation. Then there's that classic line, "Why don't you just get a car?" Oh boy, is that a conversation starter. Trust me, nothing makes a biker roll their eyes harder than someone dropping that line. Riding isn't just about having transportation. If it were, I'd be stuck in some uninspired metal box just like you. The thrill, the freedom, the connection to the road, those are what make riding special. It's clear that some people just don't understand that. They probably sit in rush hour traffic day in and day out, wishing the weekend would come faster, while I'm out there weaving through lanes and enjoying the open road. Let's be honest, these comments aren't about concern. They stem from a lack of understanding. They see motorcycles as impractical, almost like they think people ride them because they can't afford cars. But guess what? I can afford a car. I just choose not to drive one. In fact, owning a motorcycle often fosters a sense of community. Bikers share a unique bond that comes from embracing the same lifestyle. So the next time someone asks why I don't just get a car, I might just have to wonder why they settled for a mundane existence in a traffic jam. Number 9. People who think riding a motorcycle is easy. You see it often. Someone spots a rider and casually declares, "That looks simple, I bet I could do that." Well, why don't you give it a try? Hop on a bike and see how it goes. What many fail to recognize is that riding isn't just about sitting on the seat and twisting the throttle. It encompasses balance, throttle control, clutch manipulation, braking techniques, and adapting to various road conditions. It requires being acutely aware of every vehicle around you, predicting what other drivers might do, and always having an escape plan in mind. Riding is a skilled endeavor that demands practice and experience. Furthermore, a rider must also understand the mechanics of the motorcycle itself, knowing how to maintain it and troubleshoot minor issues on the road. Neglect that respect, and the road has a way of giving you a rude awakening. What really gets under bikers' skin is when someone likens motorcycle riding to riding a bicycle. "Oh, I rode bikes as a kid," they might say. "That's great, but let me know how you fare navigating 700 pounds of machinery while avoiding potholes and inattentive drivers." Next time someone suggests riding is a breeze, hand them the keys and observe the panic set in. The reality? Riding is easy to learn but incredibly challenging to master. Those who underestimate it are often the ones who find themselves dropping their bikes in a parking lot. Now on to number 10. Drivers who tailgate motorcyclists as if it's no big deal. This behavior is baffling, yet it happens all too frequently. You're cruising along, maintaining a safe distance, and suddenly an impatient driver decides that being just 2 feet from your back tire is appropriate. Why? They think it will encourage you to speed up. Here's the truth. This isn't just reckless, it's dangerous. If their vehicle collides with yours, it's not just a minor bump. It could mean a trip to the hospital for you. Bikers despise tailgaters because we understand the risks involved. A car rear-ending another car might result in a minor accident. But when it's a car versus a motorcycle, the stakes rise dramatically. Some drivers may not even realize they are tailgating. They assume that because a motorcycle is smaller, they can follow closer. They don't grasp just how hazardous that is. So here's a piece of advice for anyone driving behind a motorcycle. Give the rider some space. Tailgating isn't just a matter of inconvenience. It could lead to serious consequences. Always remember that the weight and speed difference can lead to catastrophic results, and respecting that distance could mean the difference between life and death for a motorcyclist. If you think flashing your headlights and riding my rear tire will speed me up, you might want to reconsider your tactics. Let's talk about something that really gets under every biker's skin. Drivers who take over motorcycle parking spaces. You pull into a gas station or a store and there it is, a designated spot just for motorcycles. But instead of seeing bikes parked where they're supposed to be, you find a completely clueless driver hogging the space. It's often some guy in a small car who thinks it's okay, or even worse, a large SUV taking up the whole area meant for multiple bikes. Seriously, did you miss the sign with the motorcycle symbol? That spot is not for you. Motorcycle parking spaces exist for a reason. Bikes are compact and don't need full parking spots. We use these designated areas to maximize space and avoid causing chaos. Yet, when someone decides to squeeze their car into our spot, it forces bikers to find unsafe parking alternatives or struggle into tight spots that were never designed for cars. And don't even get me started on those drivers who block a row of bikes. If I come back to find your car blocking me in, just know I'll take my time leaving. It's not just about parking, it's about respect for the bike community. Every morning, motorcycle riders gear up for a ride that brings freedom and adventure, but we also rely on a sense of camaraderie and understanding on the roads. When you take our parking, you're disregarding that shared space meant for those who do ride. So here's the bottom line. If you drive a car, steer clear of motorcycle parking. It's not yours. And if you do take our space, don't be shocked when we park right up against your door. Now, on to another pet peeve. The nicknames some people throw around for motorcycles, like calling them crotch rockets or donor cycles. These terms can be infuriating. To hear someone casually label sport bikes as accidents waiting to happen shows a complete misunderstanding. Yes, sport bikes are faster, and riding is inherently riskier than driving a van, but labeling them as donor cycles is just plain ignorant. Most of the time, these comments come from folks who have never even ridden a bike. They've watched a couple of crash videos online and suddenly think they're experts. Meanwhile, they'll drive like maniacs in their own cars, yet they act like bikers are the ones taking unnecessary risks. Plus, not every bike is a sport bike. If I pull up on a Harley and you still call it a crotch rocket, it's clear you really don't know what you're talking about. In fact, many riders take extensive safety courses and invest in protective gear, actions that speak volumes about our commitment to safety and enjoyment of the ride. So if you're not a rider, maybe it's best to keep those opinions to yourself. Let's talk about something that really gets under a biker's skin. People who think it's funny to tap on a helmet. If there's one thing that gets a rise out of any rider, it's that clueless individual who thinks they're being clever by giving your helmet a little knock. You know the type, as they see you decked out in your gear and think, hey, let me knock on this helmet like it's some door. Well, newsflash, it's not a joke. It's downright annoying. Helmets are vital safety gear, not playthings for bystanders. They're expensive, personal, and designed to protect you on the road, not for some random person to treat like a doorbell check. And let's be clear, tapping on someone's helmet while they're wearing it? That crosses a line. Imagine if someone just walked up and smacked the side of your head. You'd be less than thrilled, right? Plus, that knock isn't just irritating. It can also be dangerously distracting. It's important to remember that a helmet serves a critical purpose. It's engineered with safety standards to absorb impacts and protect your noggin in an accident. When someone gives it a knock, they're not just being rude, they're undermining the very gear that keeps riders safe on the unpredictable roads. So next time someone decides it's a good idea to tap on your helmet, give them a stare that says you really don't appreciate it. If they don't ride, they likely won't grasp just how irritating that is. If you're nodding your head or feeling a bit of that familiar frustration rising, congratulations, you're a true rider. Every biker has faced this kind of nonsense at one time or another, whether it's misguided questions from drivers or just dealing with those who don't understand our world. Now I want to hear from you. What's something that really ticks you off as a rider? Did I miss something on the list? Drop your thoughts in the comments so we can share and vent together. And if you found this useful, hit that like button, subscribe, and keep coming back for more insights and tips. There's plenty more to explore, so stay safe out there, ride smart, and as always, keep the rubber side down.